I'm Tim Gordon with your weekly recap. We're going to catch you up on some of the biggest stories of the week. Stories like the massive earthquake that rocked the Pacific and raised tsunami fears up and down the West Coast. Also, the FBI is using facial recognition technology to catch violent protesters. And the growing push to keep the Trailblazers in Portland now that the team is up for sale. Our top story that dominated headlines across the globe is the massive earthquake near Russia that brought tsunami advisories across the Pacific. It was one of the strongest quakes in recorded history. Those advisories for Oregon and Washington were canceled Wednesday morning after the entire West Coast was under notice Tuesday night. Coastal communities were on alert Tuesday, but not too concerned. Waves from the tsunami were only 1 to 2 feet when they reached our shores, and no damage was reported. With the tsunami scare behind us, some Democratic lawmakers in Oregon say this incident is highlighting the gaps in our current response system.
And we can either just continue to try to whistle past the graveyard and hope that nothing bad happens, or we can act like responsible leaders and say, you know what, this is going to be a little painful. We're going to have to figure out a long-term strategy for funding.
Lawmakers are looking for funding so the Oregon Department of Emergency Management can have a 24-hour operations center. They're also hoping to upgrade alert systems so both locals and visitors can get notifications. That, plus more training and better facilities for first responders.
The flood recedes, when the fire is out, when the windstorm is over. How do you put Humpty Dumpty back together again in a format that actually plays to our strengths and doesn't depend upon FEMA, which is losing its capacity?
Lawmakers say they want to reintroduce the plan to make this happen during the next legislative session, which is in February. Well, a person is dead and 2 officers hurt after a police shooting in Springfield, Oregon. It happened just before 3 Wednesday afternoon at a car wash on Gateway Street and Cruz Way. Police got a call of a man acting in a disorderly way. They say the suspect threatened officers with knives and stabbed 2 of them before a Springfield police officer shot and killed him.
I first thought it was a car accident, and then I seen an officer covering his face as he got stabbed in the eyeball.
Both officers were released from the hospital Thursday to recover at home. And now to the latest on local response to the Trump administration's immigration agenda. This coming Monday, leaders in Yamhill County are planning to address fears around ICE arrests. This comes after a video surfaced that showed ICE agents making an arrest outside the Yamhill County Jail. ICE raids will be one of the main topics during the Honoring the Journey Summit, where leaders will discuss immigration issues. Community leaders say they want to help people feel safe leaving their homes.
They're starting to hunker down, so we're not seeing as many folks going out for shopping. We're hearing from our health network that some folks are just not going to appointments. If it gets bad enough, what we'll see is that people just won't show up to work.
I'd like to see clarity of what is allowed and where and when, and enforcing our state laws in those vulnerable areas.
Local leaders said they want to hear from state leadership on what's being done to protect people's rights. The conference will take place Monday at the Salem Convention Center. Well, there were new developments this week in the arrest of a Portland man accused of assaulting an officer during an ICE protest. We've learned the FBI used facial recognition and photos posted online to find him. Evan Watson took a closer look at how that investigation unfolded.
Since June, nearly 24 people have been arrested on charges connected to ICE protests in Southwest Portland. The latest, 24-year-old Jacob Hoops, a Reed College graduate. FBI investigators say Hoops threw a rock and hit an ICE officer in the head, then later used a stop sign to damage the ICE building. But they didn't know who he was until the Oregonian posted a photo of Hoops taking care of another protester.
It's clear to me that what the FBI did is standard practice.
The FBI used commercially available facial recognition technology to search for their suspect, matched him to photos posted on a Reed College photo sharing page, tracked him to his home, and then arrested him. Adam Scott Want, associate professor at John Jay College of Criminal Justice, says this is nothing new.
Law enforcement is getting much better at solving crimes than they were just a decade ago. Facial recognition and AI have given law enforcement extremely significant powers when it comes to investigations.
A pink gas mask, a distinct tattoo, all listed as evidence by the FBI investigator.
The facial recognition technology in this particular case was as justifiable as it gets.
Catherine Crump is a professor at Berkeley Law School.
That said, it's really problematic that we've done as bad a job as we have in this country in regulating the use of technology like this. There should be clear rules of the road. We need safeguards to ensure that this powerful technology is used in a way that advances legitimate law enforcement interests, but that stave off possibilities of abuse.
Hoops appeared in court Monday. A judge released him from custody with certain restrictions until his trial.
I do think it's striking throughout the affidavit just how many different forms of surveillance were used, how many sources of video they were, and it just really drove home how technology has transformed the act of being in public and engaging in protest.
Evan Watson, KGW News.
Hoops pleaded not guilty, and his attorney did not respond to our request for a comment. Reed College said it's reviewing why the director of community safety there would have disclosed information about Hoops, adding that the college prioritizes the privacy and rights of students and alumni. The way a city councilor in Southwest Washington chose to protest has put her at the center of controversy. She protested topless. And a warning for you, there are blurred images of nudity in this story. Stevenson City Councilor Lucy Lasser stood on the Skamania County Courthouse lawn without a shirt back in July. Lasser is transgender and says she was protesting the Trump administration's policies on transgender rights. She was arrested for indecent exposure. Now she's running for mayor with the primary coming up on Tuesday. A local business owner has started a petition to recall her.
And protesting topless was the best way that you felt.
I couldn't think of a better method of protesting the president calling me a man than taking off my shirt and getting arrested for it.
This is not about a transgender. This is about a city council official, an elected official, a city council member that is going topless and committing a crime.
If the petition moves forward, it would need 178 signatures within 180 days to recall Councilor Lasser. Big changes are coming to some Portland schools. Starting this coming school year, middle schoolers will be graded on a new system called StandardsBased Grading. It scraps the single-letter grade in favor of assessments. For example, instead of a kid getting an 89 in English, an assessment will describe that they're highly proficient in reading but lacking in writing. While national outlets like the New York Post have criticized the change, saying it fails kids who need help, supporters say it's a more equitable approach for all students.
Sixth grade teacher, I think it's better for students. It gives very specific information to parents on where students are doing well and maybe they need more work.
There's much more fine grain, so you can see where you need to do your instruction. It's very clear where students know things.
Portland Public Schools plans to eventually use standards-based grading in elementary schools as well, but it's still unclear when that would happen. Local business leaders and some former Portland Trailblazers are working to make sure Moda Center will continue to be the team's home. They're pushing for both the city and the state to get behind a major renovation or build a new arena altogether to help make sure a new Blazers owner doesn't move them to a new city. John Adams has more.
We should all have learned from Seattle, who became the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Few people have a bigger connection to the Portland Trailblazers than Marshall Glickman. His father founded the team in 1970, and he was instrumental in the building of the Moda Center and the development of the Rose Quarter in the mid-90s. With the team now up for sale, Glickman says the city needs to take a serious look at changes to its home of 3 decades.
The state of Moda Center is generations behind the state of new modern arenas today.
Glickman, along with other area business leaders and former players, are banding together to form Rip City Forever, a group aimed at keeping the franchise in Portland.
This is Oregon's team, Portland's team. The team stays here and is in a situation where it can compete at the highest level and bring back a championship to Portland.
At a press conference earlier this month, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver weighed in on the sale of the franchise. saying the league prefers the team to stay in Portland if certain steps are made.
The city of Portland likely needs a new arena.
On Tuesday, Oregon Governor Tina Kotek and Portland Mayor Keith Wilson sent a letter to Silver affirming a commitment to renovating MODA, saying they are prepared to explore a public-private partnership to make it happen. However, Glickman thinks there needs to be a really serious look at whether or not it makes financial sense to renovate MODA or build a brand new arena.
If we want to be a world-class city, we should have a world-class venue.
Glickman believes a new arena with an entertainment district built around it could be a huge economic driver for the area, but says part of this push is also personal.
I can't fathom the idea of standing over my father's grave, and I mean that really sincerely, to say, hey, they left.
John Adams, KGW News.
Yeah, we can't be losing our Blazers, that's for sure. Well, Newsweek has named an arcade in Hillsboro the best in the United States. The 27,000 square foot Next Level Pinball Museum takes home the top honor. There are roughly 300 pinball machines and 350 arcade games at Next Level. You can find classics from the 80s and 90s, as well as some more modern offerings. The arcade also has vintage toys and the world's largest lunchbox collection. That's pretty cool. The museum director told us being named tops in the country is a huge honor.
Whether you're a 6-year-old kid, your mom and dad, your grandma and grandpa want to come in, we want to make sure that every single person has something from their childhood. It's been really special to us to feel like we built something that people really love and connect with.
Now here's another fun fact. The owners say this is the second largest arcade in the world. Now here's your weather.
On a Friday, really pretty down here in Portland. I'm meteorologist Rod Hill with your weather update for the beautiful Rose City. Our overwhelming headline is the fact that, again, we're going to see scattered thunderstorms east of the Cascades today. We've seen this fire up every day going back to Monday. But today, we've been getting this many storms every day. Today, we're going to get that many storms, so a far less number. Nonetheless, we are still in the convective outlook from the Weather Service and the possibility of scattered storms absolutely in the forecast. Here's the way Futurecast shows it. We've had clouds and even fog along the coast this morning. This shows as we get going toward noon, we could see things start to break out along the coast and clear out somewhat. A few showers out east. And again, here we are at 4. Thunderstorms east of LeGrand and Baker City and some storms approaching our vacation resort areas up into central Oregon. But again, not as many storms as what we've been seeing, to the point that the Weather Service actually dropped the red flag warning for high fire danger because of less lightning threat today. And really going all the way back to Monday, we've been fortunate. We haven't had that many fire starts because a lot of the lightning has been accompanied with heavy downpours, beneficial rains. So we had anywhere from 1/10 to an inch to over 3/4 of an inch of rain in some of those spotty downpours just yesterday. Let's continue into your weekend. This is Saturday morning. Another push of marine clouds along our coast. Some clouds into Portland in the morning to start, but then those clouds will go away and we'll have a nice Saturday afternoon. More scattered storms tomorrow afternoon, evening out across areas of central and eastern Oregon, but again, not the amount of activity that we have been seeing. In fact, on this very first day of August, this is the large fire map across our 2 states. The only large name fires burning in Oregon, there's only 2 of them. The Lost Tom and the Rock Creek, both are just burning in grasslands near the Idaho border, and I believe I'm correct when I say there are no residences threatened. And then with the exception of the Burdoin fire, which is in Skamania County on the Washington side of the gorge, that's mainly contained. The other fires in Washington, there are 7 total, are up across the northern third of the state. So for the first day of August, I don't remember on this date the fire map being so quiet. So knock on wood, that's good news. Let's hope we get through August without any significant new fire starts. Our live cameras for you on a Friday. Again, we've got the clouds that start along the coast. Our Chinook Winds Casino Resort camera in Lincoln City, but we're looking for partial clarity today. It's partly cloudy over our mountain, we like to call it, Mount Hood. Timberline Lodge camera looking out over the summit. It's been warm up there. It could be 70 at 6,000 feet on a Timberline today. Here is how we're starting off in Portland. Just beautiful sunshine out there. Our forecast numbers for a Friday, first day of August. Morning clouds, partly cloudy afternoon in many areas, maybe not all, but many, and temperatures generally staying in the 60s along the coast today. Out in the Columbia River Gorge, people going out to recreate. West winds, kind of a typical breeze, nothing extreme, 10 to top gust to 25 miles per hour. Hood River in the mid-80s. The Dalles will be a little bit warmer, getting up to around 91 degrees. And here in the valley, Down in the Salem area, it'll be warm to hot. We're taking a look at 88-degree temperatures for a forecast high. Light northwest winds. Be a little bit cooler than that in Portland. I've got us in the mid-80s, and across our entire region at 6 o'clock, this is the way the map looks. The scattered storm threat in central and eastern Oregon, but again, less activity than previous days this week. And you can see there will be a couple of exceptions, but most inland areas today will be in the 80s. Okay, first 7-day forecast of our new month, and we'll go mostly sunny, 84 in Portland, which, by the way, is the exact climate high for Portland for the first day of August. Tomorrow, clouds of sun, 81, and then the cool down, 77 on Sunday, partly cloudy. We could be in the 70s down here, really comfortable all the way into Tuesday. We're eyeing the chance of literally a raindrop or two late Tuesday into Wednesday morning of next week. Right now, it looks like Thursday starts to warm back up with a forecast high of 84.
Thanks to Rod Hill for that, and that is a wrap of your weekly recap. Thanks for watching. I'm Tim Gordon. And a reminder, you can catch up on the latest headlines anytime on KGW.com, your KGW app, or our YouTube channel. Have a great night.